Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kerry Ash, and I am the President Emeritus, the immediate past President of Southern University Student Government Association, and the former Chairman, immediate past Chairman of the Council of Student Body Presidents, representing all of Louisiana's higher education institutions. And it's indeed my high honor, my privilege, and my esteemed pleasure to endorse Senator Mary Landrieu for re-election to the United States Senate. Senator Landrieu has done more for the state of Louisiana than I can recount, as she's been my public servant for nearly all of my lifetime. Senator Landrieu has led efforts in the United States Senate to make college more affordable for all those who are seeking to attain a higher education and a degree. She's voted to overhaul the measures for student loans to make them more affordable for the citizens of Louisiana and the United States. And she sought greater flexibility when it came down for us to repay them by consolidating them. She's fought to increase Pell Grants and make our state and our nation better for all of us. And at a time when Louisiana needs the most help, the most resources, we're in the most need, Senator Landrieu has stood time and time again to answer that clarion call. And so I'm very proud, I'm very honored to endorse a wonderful woman for the United States Senate, Senator Mary Landrieu. Thank you, Senator.
Good afternoon. I'm Stasha Rhodes, Student Government Vice President of Southern University. Louisiana students have always had a fighter in Senator Mary Landrieu. Ever since she was sworn into the Louisiana legislature, education has been one of her top priorities. From fighting for early childhood education to new and innovative approaches to secondary education, she has always put the welfare of students first in Louisiana. She fought to make sure that all students could afford higher education, working to make college more affordable for the families of Louisiana. Senator Landrieu knew that Hurricane Katrina and Rita impacted students as well as working families. So she fought for FEMA assistance for students. She also worked to get historically black colleges and universities student loans to help rebuild after Hurricane Katrina. She has brought $6 million to the HBCUs of Louisiana. Students of Louisiana and citizens of Louisiana, it is important to understand that if it isn't broken, let's not fix it. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Cassie Alsfeld, former student body president of Louisiana State University. Senator Landrieu has proven that she has what it takes to get the job done for Louisiana. She has fought for more than a decade to get legislation passed to force the federal government to share royalties from oil and gas production off our coast with Louisiana. It is perhaps the single most important legislation in our state's history. Our coastal wetlands are essential to the security of our communities during future storms, and Senator Landrieu's efforts will make us that much safer in the near future. She serves on the most important committees in the Senate. As a member of the Energy Committee, Senator Landrieu can get legislation passed to secure Louisiana's energy coast and to come up with common sense solutions to the nation's energy challenges. As a member of the Appropriations Committee, Senator Landrieu has been able to secure necessary infrastructure funding for all of our state's communities. She is also a member of the Appropriations Subcommittee on Energy and Water, so she has been able to secure funding for our hurricane protection and coastal restoration infrastructure. As a member of the Small Business Committee, Senator Landrieu has passed legislation to make it easier for Louisiana's businesses to reopen and stay open after the 2005 hurricanes. And she serves as the chairman of the Disaster Recovery Subcommittee in the Homeland Security Committee, which has enabled her to hold important hearings on FEMA's shortcomings after the storm. She is also working to rewrite the legislation that guides the federal government's response to disasters so that all of our country's communities are better protected in the future. She has proven that she is effective for Louisiana, and we need to keep her in the U.S. Senate.
Good afternoon. My name is Lamar White Jr. I'm the assistant to Mayor Jacques Roy in Alexandria. It is especially gratifying to see so many young leaders from around the state here to support Senator Mary Landrieu. for Senator Landrieu was only 23 herself when she became the youngest woman ever elected to the Louisiana House of Representatives. She served 2 terms in the legislature before becoming one of the youngest people elected statewide in the nation when at age 31 she was elected state treasurer. She brought much needed reform to the state's fiscal policies and indeed began many of the successful programs her opponent now touts, such as College Savers, Bank at School, and greatly expanded the 8G program to support colleges, universities, and technical schools. Now the nation and the world know Mary Landrieu, our senior United States Senator, as we do. Thoughtful, fair-minded, resolute, and deeply loyal to Louisiana and our nation. Senator Landrieu's contribution to this nation and to our state became increasingly obvious through her appointments to such important committees as the powerful Senate Appropriations Committee, the Energy and Natural Resources Committee, and for the engine that drives this nation, the Small Business Committee. She now serves on the Homeland Security Committee that is key for our state. Senator Landrieu has literally worked a lifetime for the people of Louisiana, our lifetime. But rather, we are not here to applaud her for her longevity, but rather for her effectiveness. Senator Landrieu has proven time and again success in addressing the issues of importance to our state, notably education, the military and veterans, energy, the environment, and the family. She is an independent voice, one willing to cross party lines for legislation and policy good for Louisiana, like she did recently, by single-handedly stopping an energy bill that would have unfairly affected Louisiana. She led the successful passage of the next day of an energy bill which strengthens our nation and is good for our state. It is notable that we stand here today in front of the Capitol as the state legislature grapples with how best to allocate a $1.5 billion surplus. For if it would not have been for the leadership and effectiveness of Senator Landrieu, who secured an additional $3 billion for Louisiana this past fall, our legislators would instead be trying to figure out how to cover a $1.5 billion deficit. Her record in the United States Senate is notable. Her tenacious work for our armed service personnel got her dubbed Military Mary. She has received numerous awards from the military for her work on their behalf. Her national energy policy includes increasing domestic production to lessen dependence on foreign oil. Of great importance to Louisiana, Senator Landrieu crafted the bill that at long last finally gives Louisiana a fair share of the tax revenues generated off of our coast. This money will allow us to protect our coast and our precious natural habitats throughout our state. Our leaders took 60 years to get our fair share. It took Senator Landrieu to get it done. Her pro-growth and pro-business voting record has earned her numerous awards from both the United States Chamber of Commerce and the National Federation of Independent Businesses. She participated in crafting the No Child Left Behind Act in 2001. She led a successful effort to redirect Title I dollars to school districts and children that need them. She is recognized as a national voice on the importance of strengthening families through foster care and adoption, and is the co-sponsor of the Safe and Stable Families Act. Senator Landrieu is a very hard-working mother of 2, the eldest of 9 children herself, and aunt to 36 nieces and nephews. Considering her interest in matters of the family and matters of the environment, it is not surprising that she would turn her attention to becoming the leader in the smart growth movement for the state of Louisiana. It is my great pleasure and honor to introduce our senior United States Senator, Mary Landrieu.
Thank you all so much. I want to acknowledge the leaders that are here today, Democrats and Republicans and independents, student body presidents and leaders from throughout every part of the state, and thank them and say that I am honored by their endorsement. Because while I'm proud of my record and most certainly am ready to run on it, this campaign for the United States Senate is not about the past, it's not about the present, but it is about the future. And this young group of strong leaders and the group that they represent, which is the group of young people in this state, will be greatly impacted by what happens in the next Congress. And I want to build on my good work, whether it comes from education reform, general government reform, coastal restoration, looking for new initiatives in health care, I want to build on that record to make this state a more vibrant place and this nation a stronger, more secure, and safe place for all Americans. And these young students honor me by their endorsement today. I also want to acknowledge, and I don't know how long they can stay, but Representative Michael Jackson, who is an extraordinary young leader here in Baton Rouge, and also State Rep Neil Abramson and Walter Leger. Would you all give them a round of applause, please? I also see State Representative Regina Barrow and also State Representative Patricia Smith. And again, I thank them. Let's give them a round of applause, please. And finally, let me just say, as I said before, there's no group of people who will be more greatly impacted by what the next Congress does than our young leaders today. With skyrocketing national debt, gas prices going through the roof, and coastal erosion, despite the great historic bill that I was able to pass, still threatening our way of life, these leaders know firsthand the importance of having effective, independent leadership in Congress. Leaders who are willing, like I am, to be proud to be a Democrat, but willing to work across party lines to get the job done, find practical solutions, meaningful solutions, and real solutions to the problems that we face today. These students behind me represent the future of Louisiana and the future of America, and I'm proud to stand here with them to fight for the future that we deserve. Thank you all so very much for coming, and I'll be happy to talk to the press individually. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to have the endorsement of young leaders from all across the state. Many of these young people are student body presidents, whether they're from, Tech in Ruston or Southern here in Baton Rouge or UNO from New Orleans and all the universities in between. These are leaders that understand that this race for the Senate is really not about the past. It's not even about where we are today, but it's about where we're going in the future. And they have more at stake based on who gets elected than anyone, because we've got high gas prices, a coast that's eroding despite really the historic work that I've done in that area. We have a health care challenge not only here in Louisiana but in the nation. And so they realize this race is about the future, and they're looking for supporting me as someone that they can believe can help us create the kind of future that we all deserve, especially them.
This is important because we need her seniority in the Senate. And this is a re-election year for her, so we're here in solidarity, a bunch of young leaders throughout the state.
I think that this election is more about the people of Louisiana. It's not about the politics. And I think that we're here to show our support for somebody who has really put Louisiana first and the people of Louisiana first in all that she's done over the past few years and during her tenure in D.C. And I think that she's someone who was first to step up to the plate to save Louisiana after the storm. She's someone who continues to fight for the restoration of our Gulf Coast in Washington and also in Louisiana. And she's someone who's a big proponent of higher education, and those are two things I'm very passionate about.
It's important because Senator Landrieu has always been a fighter for the students of Louisiana. She's an awesome advocate for education, which is very important for our state. I think it's important to realize that if it isn't broken, let's not fix it.
For this group, there aren't all the issues are, but particularly their access to higher education. I've been a consistent and effective fighter for lowering the cost of higher education, reducing the student loan debt, fighting to lower the loan rate for them. I've introduced a bill to help cut the cost of textbooks. And most importantly, fought successfully to keep colleges and universities open after they were threatened to be closed by the failing of the levy system and the catastrophic destruction that happened. Keeping Xavier and Tulane and UNO and Dillard open for college meant a lot to these kids. And, it wasn't just an automatic thing. I mean, it took hard work and leadership in Washington. So that, and there's so many others. I mean, getting out of this Iraq war safely. Again, I've mentioned health care. And reform in education. I know that these students think the work that I've done, helping to not just accept the status quo in public education, but pushing hard to give parents a choice, to give children a real opportunity for excellence regardless of what parish they're from or what part of the community they're from, is important. And I think that those are some of the reasons that they've given me their endorsement today.
Are you encouraged by what you've seen here today?
I'm very encouraged. I mean, as you can see, it's a broad base of students from all over the state, and I've been honored that so many SGA presidents and so many elected student leaders have stepped forward, as well as 5 or 6 of the youngest legislators here in the legislature. And again, I said, I feel like right at home. I spent, 8 years here as a legislator and then 8 years right up on the 3rd floor of this building as state treasurer. I'm proud of the reforms that I championed when I was here, but I'm very proud of the work that I've done representing the state in Washington in the 12 years I've been there.